So it is Woodman here. It is Thursday, August 1st, 2024, and we're here with another message from my channel. So today is a good time to delve into the traps and pitfalls of life that may present themselves in the romance department. You've probably heard of a variety of terms, and terms can be confusing, but we should take some time to go into these terms. We should really try to explain things. May the blessings of the Most High God provide you with great protection, guidance, advice, and defense against all the things in life that try to trap you and slow you down and keep you from accomplishing your life purpose. So, in the romance department, the first term we might hear is twin flame, and this is a new age concept that describes a certain intense connection between two individuals who are supposedly two halves of one whole. Twin flame is not a recognized clinical term, although so called twin flame relationships can often be described using modern relationship terms. One 2016 review found via brain scans that intense romantic love energies engage parts of the brain's reward system, especially areas rich in dopamine, which is a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure, and in other cases, sometimes addiction. The same study classifies romantic love as an often positive, but also powerfully negative state compared to many addictions. Similarly, Dr. Leb warns that the term twin flame can be problematic as it may promote an infatuation phase that's not conducive or realistic to healthy long term relationships, particularly when it might just be a toxic relationship dynamic, such as fantasy relationships, situationships, limerence, and delusionships, which involve love bombing, excessive attention, admiration, adoration, and mirroring of behaviors to resemble understanding, but coming from a person who really is probably more sociopathic and lacks emotion altogether. And don't forget about future faking, which is making false promises about the future. And that's where eventually gaslighting might also come into play at some point. While twin flames and soulmates may share some similarities, such as being intense, passionate, and quick forming connections, there are some key differences as well. Notes Amias, right? Twin flames are often used interchangeably with the term soulmate, but are actually not the same, and they're generally seen as more specific, says Scott. A person might have lots of soulmates, friends, family, romantic, and non romantic partners, but only one true twin flame, which is usually presented as a romantic partner, says Scott. Now, by contrast, you have the divine counterpart, and this is someone you share a deep romantic connection with. While there are many kinds of soul connections, a divine counterpart relationship is special in that it specifically focuses on romantic love and companionship, similar to, but not exactly like, a soulmate. Now, of course, with divine counterpart, there's something in the universe that rigs this kind of pairing that ultimately it's almost as if the divine has given a blessing to this kind of relationship. So now I want to compare false flames against divine counterparts. So, false flames, by definition, are deceptive or illusory sources of passion or energy. They might appear bright and promising, but lack true substance and or any lasting value. The characteristics of these might be that they're temporary, misleading, and superficial. They may lead to disappointment or disillusionment as their true nature is revealed over time. Mm, isn't that a shame? Divine counterparts. Well, what can I say about this? Divine counterparts, by definition, are believed to be deeply meaningful, often spiritual connections or perhaps even connections with entities that resonate with one's true self or purpose. In other words, you might even be a divine counterpart with yourself. They might be seen as soulmates, spiritual guides, or profound partners, right? Mates of heaven. Does that ring a bell? Characteristics genuine, enduring, transformative. They provide deep connection, understanding, and support, often facilitating personal growth as well as some sense of fulfillment, right? So let's compare the two. When you're comparing false flames against divine counterparts, you're looking at substance versus illusion. Divine counterparts offer a deep, meaningful connection that endures, while false flames might initially seem significant, but they lack true depth. And in fact, they're going to fizzle out. And in fact, you may just be stuck on someone that was just a memory, but that was never really for you. What about the long term impact versus the short term excitement? Divine counterparts contribute to long term growth and fulfillment, whereas false flames might offer temporary excitement or distraction, but ultimately lead to emptiness, dead ends, and disappointment. And so we have to learn to let those kinds of things go. Some people might become infatuated with that and never get over it, but really and truly, the path to inner healing is going to require you to move past. So let's talk about twin catalysts versus twin flames. Twin catalysts, by definition, are two distinct but related forces or influences that work together to bring about some sort of transformative change. They might be events, they might be ideas, they might even be individuals that unite together to initiate significant process or action. The characteristics would be that they're cooperative, they're dynamic, and they're often external. They play a role in stimulating growth or change through their interaction. But in the case of individuals, sometimes it might be a negative interaction that sparks something to result in the change or transformation. This is because these folks aren't necessarily not in your lives to be with you forever, but to spark an awakening. Now let's talk about twin flames. Twin flames, by definition, are often considered to be two halves of the same soul, split into separate physical beings. This concept implies a profound, often intense spiritual connection that involves mirroring each other's strengths and weaknesses. As you see in the diagram here, you have the yin and the yang, the feminine and the masculine, the moon and the sun, the earth and the sky, the night and the day. Characteristics: deeply emotional, challenging, and transformative. The relationship is marked by an intense connection, personal growth, but sometimes turbulent dynamics. But it shouldn't be anything that should be overwhelmingly negative. So let's make a comparison now. Nature of influence. Twin catalysts focus on external forces driving change, while twin flames are about an intrinsic, deeply personal connection that drives internal transformation. The source of the change would be that in twin catalysts, there are external sources and it can involve multiple sources, whereas twin flames are about a singular, profound relationship that creates change through deeply personal interaction. In other words, a twin catalyst might just be someone or something or some concept that sparks change at some point along the journey, but it's not anything that is once in a lifetime. Whereas a twin flame is actually once in a lifetime, and it may even never occur in a lifetime. So now let's go into the ebbs and flows of life, as compared to life lessons. The ebbs and flows of life, by definition, refer to the natural rhythms and cycles in life, including periods of prosperity and adversity. It emphasizes the inevitability of change and fluctuation. In other words, they can't always be good, sunshiny days, but it can't also be dark, stormy, scary nights. You have a little bit of both, and you mix it up. In terms of characteristics, there's a cyclical, natural variable to things. Life's up and downs are a part of a broader rhythmic pattern. In other words, sometimes when you have a great harvest, you save up for the winter. But when the winter comes, the winter is going to be a really difficult experience. Now, knowledge can be gained through experience, especially challenges and significant events. They often involve personal growth and understanding. So, adversity, in a way, is a necessary part of life. We should not shirk from adversity, but embrace confronting the unknown and those things which are difficult. This can be transformative, this can be reflective. These life lessons come from experiencing and reflecting on various aspects of life. How would we ever know what life is truly about if we don't experience the full cycle of things? So let's make a comparison now. By patterns versus insights, the ebbs and flows of life represent the cyclical nature of experiences, while life lessons are the insights gained from navigating those cycles. In terms of experience versus understanding, ebbs and flows are about experiencing the dynamic nature of life, whereas life lessons are about understanding and learning from those experiences. So, in a sense, the mistakes you make are the knowledge you gain. And so, hopefully, when you gain more knowledge, you'll learn not to make certain mistakes. So, what about the universe's repetition of patterns? And this occurs a lot, even if we don't see it. Sometimes we might have a different mask, but the same tasks come back to revisit us again and again. The universe often repeats patterns until the lesson is fully learned to ensure that individuals or entities have the opportunity to understand and integrate crucial insights. This repetition serves as a form of cosmic feedback, presenting similar challenges or situations in various forms until the underlying lesson is grasped. So what would be the mechanism? Well, repetition is definitely a very popular mechanism. The same issue or themes may recur in different forms, providing multiple opportunities to learn and grow. And in a very real sense, so long as you have something within you that you have not resolved, you will reflect it onto others, and then those others will bring it to you until you resolve it. So resolution is important because only when the lesson is truly understood and integrated will the pattern shift or resolve, allowing progress to occur. So now I want to go into the empath versus narcissist dynamic, which is vampire to victim. So let's talk about empaths. Let's talk about empaths. By definition, empaths are individuals who are highly sensitive to the emotions and the needs of others. They often feel deeply connected and compassionate, sometimes to the point of absorbing others' emotions. This happened to me once when I was on a date with my girlfriend. She told me a very sad story about a part of her life, and I began to cry. She indicated to me, wow, you really, really are very empathic. You really tap into the emotions. Now, what are the characteristics? Compassionate, intuitive, often prone to feeling overwhelmed by others' emotions. Now, let's contrast narcissists. By definition, narcissists have an inflated sense of their own importance and a deep need for admiration. They often lack empathy and can exploit others for their own benefit. As to lacking empathy, this is because they're more focused on themselves. Therefore, they're not really taking the time to sit and consider the emotions and feelings of others, and when they hurt others, they really don't necessarily appreciate it at all. They can be manipulative, self-centered, and often lacking true, genuine empathy. So let's talk about the vampire to victim dynamic. By definition, this dynamic describes a relationship where the narcissist, who is the vampire, drains the emotional energy of the empath, who is the victim. The narcissist exploits the empath's sensitivity and compassion, leaving the empath emotionally depleted. What an interesting power supply. If one is the machine, the other is the battery, and that machine will continue to drain energy until the battery is dead. Characteristics. The narcissist thrives on the empath's emotional responses, creating a parasitic relationship where the empath's energy is used to fulfill the narcissist's needs. So what about the interactions between empaths and narcissists? There may be an attraction. Empaths may be drawn to narcissists because of their nurturing tendencies. In other words, they may feel the hurt from a narcissist and want to help that, while narcissists are attracted to empaths for their ability to provide emotional validation. In other words, it's very symbiotic because both of them are drawing from each other, but that doesn't make it equal. So let's talk about the dynamic itself. The empath provides emotional support and understanding, which the narcissist exploits, leading to a draining and unbalanced relationship. So in other words, this symbiotic relationship has turned extremely parasitic, and if left to their own devices, a narcissist will drain the empath until there are no more. The resolution is to break free from this dynamic, so empaths need to establish healthy boundaries, recognize manipulative behaviors, and prioritize self-care. And this is why it is important that we draw boundaries. This is why it's important that we maintain boundaries. This is important why we have a strong sense of boundaries when someone is hurting us. By understanding these concepts and these interactions, you gain insights on how personal and relational dynamics function and how patterns of behavior and relationships influence growth and change. You don't have to put up with behavior that is not tolerable. You don't have to put up with behavior that is inconsiderate. You don't have to put up with behavior that doesn't consider your needs and wants. You can put up strong boundaries, and you can take these vampires to task and send them back packing. In other words, rather than living in the shadowy depths of an unequal parasitic relationship, it is better to open the blinds and let the sun bring in the light of day upon these vampiric entities. Do not allow a narcissist to ever, ever make you feel less than. Do not allow a narcissist to damage your mental health. It is important to recognize the parasitic nature of this relationship and to realize that there are things such as limerence, there are things such as false flames, and there are things such as catalysts, which may be steps in your path for your growth and transformation, but are not here for the long term. I hope you enjoyed this message. If you're new here, welcome to the family. You are welcome. This is a safe space. If you are returning, thank you for your support of the channel. I always appreciate you each and every day. I love you. I love you. I love you. May the Most High God bless you and protect you throughout your travels and your journey in life. Have a wonderful and blessed day. Woodman signing off.